This is a Sichos, look at the Sichos, Chelek Parshas Vayechi, Sichos Beis. And the topic is that we find in this week's Parsha that Yaakov Avinu instructed that Levi and Yosef shouldn't bury him, and Menashe and Ephraim should take their place. And so we're going to learn in the Sicha, number one, why Levi and Yosef didn't participate in this mitzvah. What is it about Levi and Yosef that doesn't allow them to be involved in burying Yaakov? Number two, we're going to learn how this fits with Moshe, who was himself from Shevet Levi, helping to bury Yosef. He helped take out later by the Gulas Mitzrayim. He took out Atzmas Yosef. And number three, we're going to learn what is the deeper connection between Levi and Yosef and Menashe and Ephraim, that because of that, Menashe and Ephraim were the ones to take their places. So to summarize, the Torah tells us, Vayisu Oisei Banav Arza Canaan, that the Shvatim carried Yaakov's Oren to the land of Canaan. And Yaakov instructed that among the Shvatim, Levi lo yisa, because he's destined to carry the Oren, and Yosef lo yisa, because he's a king. And the question is, how can we take away from Yosef and Levi the mitzvah that they have, especially Yosef, who Yaakov made him swear on the Sasani Mitzrayim? And the answer is, we see when it says that, when Rashi tells us that Menashe and Ephraim took the places of Yosef and Levi, it says, you tachtehem. Tachtehem means to say, not just that they're going to fill in physically for them, but that they're going to be their shluchim, and shluchish ladim kamaisei. So they did do the mitzvah through them. This also answers to us, how can Menashe and Ephraim be there? If Yaakov said, it says, Vayisu oisa banav v'loi bnei vanov, and not his sons. Ela atem, rather only you. And here we see that the sons did carry them. There was Menashe and Ephraim. And the answer is because they weren't there as individuals, but rather they were there as shluchish ladim kamaisei of Yosef and Levi. We move on to ask that, yes, we see that they were their shluchim, but on a deeper level, we have to say that if they're their shluchim, then they have a deeper connection to them. It's not just technically we need two people to replace two people. There must be a deeper connection between them. So for Yosef, we could understand Menashe and Ephraim were his sons, but how about for Levi? But in order to answer that, we asked another question. If Shevet Levi didn't carry the Oren, because he's Asad Losses as Oren, then how did Moshe carry Atzmas Yosef if he was also from Levi and specifically from Kahas who actually carried the Oren? And the explanation is that the Tsaras HaShibud began only after the passing of Yaakov, and even more so after the burial of Yaakov, after removing Yaakov from Mitzrayim. Yaakov being in Mitzrayim didn't allow the Galus to happen while he was alive, and also after he passed away. Taking Yaakov out of Mitzrayim allowed for the Galus to happen. That explains to us back to what we started, why Levi and Yosef didn't carry Yaakov's Oren. It's not just for some technical reason about he's going to carry the Oren and he's the Melech. There's a deeper reason. Both Yosef and Levi were above the Galus. Like we know that as long as Yosef was alive, there was no Galus. And another stage of Galus didn't start as long as Levi was alive. They were both above the Galus. And that's the reason why they couldn't take Yaakov out of Mitzrayim, because taking Yaakov out of Mitzrayim is about going into the Galus. They were above it. And it's also hinted to what we said. He's Asad Losses as Oren. If he's carrying the Oren is what doesn't allow Galus to happen, because it's Torah. And also Yosef. We know that Yosef was above the Galus because he was a Melech of Mitzrayim. He ruled over Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim could not rule over him. Now that answers our question. How did Moshe help taking Atzmas Yosef? Because that's totally different. That's the opposite. Taking Yaakov out of Mitzrayim is what brings Galus. Taking Yosef out of Mitzrayim is what brings Geula. So specifically, someone from Shevet Levi should be doing that. After we explained this, then we came to a new question. If that's the case, that we just explained the deeper level about Levi and Yosef, why they didn't carry it, because carrying the Oren is about going into Galus, and they're above Galus, then why did they have Shluchim? So first we explained how is it that they weren't even in Galus. Everybody has to be in Galus. There was a bris ben Absarim. The Galus had to be on everyone, especially since the Geula, the Vacher Kein Yetzer B'Chush Gadol, was conditioned on being in Galus first. And the answer is that it's not that Levi was just above Galus, that had nothing to do with it. It was his way of participating in Galus. That was his way of helping the Yidden, that they should be able to have a bridge to getting out of Galus. Like we said, different body parts. It was all part of one entity. Their role was about being mashpia on the Yidden. And so now we understand why they needed shluchim. They needed shluchim to take their place because they weren't removed from the galus entirely. Instead, that the galus didn't have control over them, but they did have a connection to the galus. And the way they helped the yidden, one of the ways, was by having shluchim participate in making the galus happen. That those shluchim made a bridge between the yidden that were going to experience the galus directly and Shevet Levi that were going to stay above it, but connect to the yidden and help them. And now we came back to our second question that we had about the connection between Menashe and Ephraim and Levi, and we explained also their connection to Yosef. The connection between Menashe and Ephraim to Yosef and Levi is that Yosef is about being above the galus and have nothing to do with it, and that's like Menashe. Menashe is about not forgetting where a yid not forgetting where he comes from, which makes him stay above the galus. Levi is not about being above the galus; it's about going into the galus and using that power to be above it to turn the galus into geula, and that's what Ephraim represents. Kifrani elikim beretz ani, going into galus and having growth. And we explained that Yidden have both of these qualities, like Yidden are called Noyek Hatzayin Yosef, Yidden are Yosef, and all Yidden can be from Shevet Levi. And the order is that first the Yid has to be above the galus and not be impacted by the galus, and then ultimately then a Yid could come about to turn the galus into the geula.